and welcome to another episode of my lockdown podcast, which is called A Cuppa with Anna. And I've forgotten my cup of tea yet again for my podcast. But my guest, I can see she's drinking her tea, so that's all right. So today I'm joined by Laura Loft, and Laura is a musician, a music educator, and a children's author. Hello, Laura.
Hello, it's lovely to be here.
Oh, thank you. It's so nice to see you. It's been a while because I think the last time I saw you, was it when you came on my radio show?
Possibly. I think we had a coffee.
Oh, we did.
Tea.
Yeah, on the coffee cellar. That's years ago, isn't it?
Yeah. Can't remember how many now. I think maybe 3 or 2.
Yeah. Gosh, well, it's nice to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Lots to catch up on in half an hour. How are you finding lockdown?
A mixed bag.
Yeah.
So initially it was quite confusing because got like a chronic health condition. I didn't know whether I was on the at-risk list. But it actually felt better when lockdown happened in a way, because there was like that clear, here are the rules. Homeschooling's been challenging with a 6-year-old, and then me and my husband both working at home. So we had like a middle bit of lockdown, which was like a lovely little bubble where I just kind of switched off from the news because it wasn't helping me mentally, and just kind of like, right, okay, let's just get in the flow. And we've had some really lovely family time, and it was really good. We had a little bit of a routine. And then it's kind of like hits again, and you kind of come out of your bubble, and yeah, real mixed bag. I'm really missing human contact now, like a cuddle, from not just my husband and my son, which is lovely, but it's quite intense, 24/7.
Yeah, you got some hugs from your mates and other family members.
Sometimes, yeah. Sounds awful.
So I know that sort of things that you've done in the past, a couple of things in particular actually I was quite intrigued by with some of the questions I asked, that you've done some quite resilient building things through travel, haven't you? So I just kind of want to like go back a little bit at the beginning of the interview. So tell us a little bit about some of the interesting traveling that you did when you were younger.
So when I was younger, I was in a youth group, and there were lots of older mates there who were like going off to Africa or doing all these like great missions in Nepal. And so I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. When I'm 18, I'm going to do that. And then I got to the age of 18, I was like, oh no, I've actually got to do this now because I've said I was going to do it. And I left it so late planning like my gap year, and I just didn't know what to do. And I was like, oh, I'll just go to Nepal, and hadn't planned anything. And then I woke up in the middle of the night, I was like, this is ridiculous. I don't know what I'm doing. And so I got in touch with a Gap Challenge company, and they had a space left for Peru. And I was like, okay. And I didn't know anyone. And I met up with the group because I was late. I didn't do the team building with them. So I met up with them, 2 girls, like once just before we flew out, and then spent 4 months over there teaching in a remote valley, although there was a teacher strike when we were there. But it was a real throw yourself in travels. It wasn't like, a glamorous gap year. It was like, let's swim. Yeah, there was like this horrible swimming pool with a rat in it, and we were swimming like, oh, there's a rat, let's get out. And we were just, we went on a pilgrimage, which we didn't know was a pilgrimage at the time. They were like, come and do this walk. And so we hadn't really packed anything. And it took about, 8 hours to get up to the top. We ran out of water. We got food poisoning at the top and had to sleep in this kind of weird hut with like hundreds of people. And then you couldn't sleep, and then you'd wake up with just some man staring down over you. And
did you enjoy it?
Weirdly, yeah. Like I think I was always told when I was younger, I used to write songs a lot, and it was kind of just exploring your life experiences, as they do. And my dad always used to say, like, if anything kind of happened that was a bit challenging. Like, oh, that's good songwriting material.
Yeah.
So it helped. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
ate guinea pig, which was, I didn't know I was eating guinea pig either. So it was all, yeah, weird. But I made like great friends from it for life. So
Yeah. It's
yeah.
always my worst nightmare going somewhere like that, the being ill, and actually you've been somewhere and you actually had I can't think of anything worse than having food poisoning when you're away from home.
Oh, yeah. Well, we had it so many times as well. You kind of got used to it. But
I just get used to being ill all the time.
and it was almost like, it's weird because it's like such a significant thing in my life going to Peru. I always look back on it when I've got hard times. That is my point of, you've done that.
Yeah.
And it was the last month I was there. We were in the jungle just with a few of my friends there, and we got really poorly with a parasite, which was the trigger for my CFS really all those years ago, and it's caused loads of problems through my life. But I still would never regret going to Peru because of what I got from it. So
Yeah. You can
yeah.
get through anything now.
Yeah, and then later on we did like a more glamorous travel. So with my husband, we glamped around Central America, and that was much better.
Oh yeah, that sounds much nicer.
But yeah, I'm not going anywhere like Peru.
So obviously you say, that was a good experience to start you off on your songwriting journey.
Yes, yeah.
And you've done quite a lot of songwriting. You were in a band, weren't you, for a while? Remind me
Yeah.
of the name of that band, because I was trying to remember the other day.
It was under my maiden name, so it was Laura Dugmore Band.
That was it, Dugmore. Yeah.
We were like an acoustic folky pop trio. Yeah, that was really fun years. It was hard because you kind of always constantly like, oh, we're gonna make it. Like you're just chasing to kind of get somewhere, and it's all, you don't get paid much. And I remember one gig we got paid in noodles, and we were like, oh, this is rubbish. but fun, really fun memories. Yeah, and then I've kind of been in a few little jazz groups and done some solo stuff.
Yeah. So, because I know with your songwriting, I know when we spoke before, you've done a lot of gigging and you've done stuff, but you kind of came to a realization that the idea of success was a bit sort of different for you, as opposed to just
Yeah.
gigging all the time. And
Yeah, well, it got to a point where, like, I mean, being an artist or in the arts it's tough. There's no set route. It's not like a career plan is mapped out for you, and you're just trying to get there by yourself, really, and weaving in and out. And so I think I got to a point where, I mean, I didn't realise it at that time, but the ME kind of really kicked in, and then because I didn't understand what was going on in my body, I was just kind of going mad, like trying to achieve everything and gig and stuff, and then I just crash, and like for weeks, and then I was in a job that I wasn't really enjoying, and you're not making money, and it impacts on your self-esteem, and I kind of just said enough. And then that's when we went away traveling, just to kind of gather thoughts and stuff, and redefined what success meant. I think I'd gone for a big funding bid and didn't get it at that point, and I just thought, oh, like, how do I do this? I can't, I haven't got enough money. So at that point I set up a songwriting club, young singer songwriter club, at the Phoenix, who they've always been really supportive. And I just really enjoyed it. I absolutely loved the songwriting club, and we grew it, and then that was going on for about 2 years at that point, and then I fell pregnant, and that really was the change, because becoming a mum and then becoming an ill mum, I just couldn't do what I used to do, and had quite a few tough years, but found my peace of mind with it, just finding a different way with music, and kind of letting go of perfectionism. So
yeah, that's a tough one, isn't it?
yeah, I just wouldn't do anything, and because I'd be like, oh, that's not good enough, that's not good enough. And now I'm just like, oh, let's just put it out there. Who cares? Like,
Yeah.
it's just about being creative.
Yeah,
So
because you've been writing some songs during lockdown, haven't you? You wrote a song for your son, didn't you?
yes, yeah, it's called My Little Hero. Actually, I've just been working on that a
Yeah.
bit more. And yeah, it's weird because you were saying we're in lockdown. It really makes the creativity flow. Like, like especially the first few weeks, I was like, right, like all these buzzy ideas and stuff. And you can see everyone else is doing it as well, and so you're kind of feeding off of it. Yeah, so I've been writing lockdown songs really as
Yeah, you
well.
have a whole lockdown album at the end of it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So obviously, like you say, you've done a lot of like running groups and stuff at the Phoenix. So the kind of music education side is something you're really passionate about. And I know that you recently just released a book. So tell us a little bit about this, because I think it's wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so the book really came from when I had my son. Just before I had my son, I had a car accident, and that triggered. I didn't know it at the time, but a lot of health problems, and it took about 3 years to get diagnosed. Eventually with fibromyalgia, so your pain sensors like right up there. So I was in a lot of pain, and ME and CFS and some other stuff, my hips, and it was really tough, really tough few years. I couldn't do much at all. So if I'd had a shower, that was my morning activity, and then I just had to sit. Or noise was a tricky thing because my sensors were so up. If someone was coughing, like my husband had to warn me if he was going to cough, because it would set my senses off, and then I'd be in a shaking fit. It was
Goodness.
just crazy. But what happens in the first stage of ME is that your mind is wired and your body is tired. So I'd just be laying there and feeling all the weird sensations in my body and shakes and stuff, couldn't move. But my mind was like, I need to do something. So, and I was still trying to look after my son. So we would hang out in bed a lot and just tell stories. And that's really where it started, because then Seb started to react with normal toddler emotions, but also finding it really hard having a mum that couldn't do as much. So we wrote the story together. So really, it came from that. We were just sat in this chair actually and just kind of saying what would happen next. And it was about him, little boy, and cat. We got a cat. And it was my recovery project. So when I was having to rest, which I absolutely hated at first because I'm a doer and I just hated it, I kept myself busy just writing the book, and it was a really slow burner. But it wasn't until I got some help from Help Musicians with my health, so they funded me to have some holistic care when I'd ran my course with the NHS, and they also helped me get some equipment, and then I started my job at Trinity in early years and in music, and that's when it all kind of came together. And Help Musicians provided me with a mentor, and called Nick, and he was the one who really encouraged me to just do it, because I was like, oh, it's only a little idea, and oh, I don't think I'll be able to do it, like. And he was like, no, that's the thing to commit to, so commit to it. Whereas I used to be like, I've got all these millions of ideas and I'll try a bit of that, a bit of that, a bit of that, a bit of that, but I had to really discipline myself to go, no, none of that, and just focus. So that's where it came from. And then I went for some funding again to finish the book and didn't get it, and I was like, I'm just going to do it anyway. And so we kind of put some savings in, and I got my brilliant illustrator, my friend Nia Gould, and yeah, we kind of did it, and it's done. And now we won some funding, and we launched it at Trinity Primary School in Exeter, which was great. And we had music workshops with it, and yeah, it was really good.
So tell us a little bit more about the book itself and its message, because that's what I really love. That you know, the
Oh
message
yeah.
that you try and teach through your creativity.
So the book is called Big Emotions, Mindful Music for Little People, and it follows our some of our core emotions. I've got 8 core emotions. So the idea is that for children to be able to regulate their emotions, they need to first recognise them. So little boy goes on an adventure, and in it he has binoculars. So that's his kind of object of recognising his emotions. And he also packs in his bag a feather. And the feather is his regulating his emotions. So throughout the book, you can use your feather in different ways and help regulate your emotions. And then there's a song in the trust part of the emotion called I Am Calm, and where the children get the feather and they put it in their hands and they mindfully breathe and they blow the feather away. And that's like blowing their worries away. And there's a nice little tune with it. So yeah, so little boy, oh, and he's got his cat, and his cat is his kind of comforting element, because my cat was my comforting element too in my recovery. And yeah, so it starts off with excitement, then surprise, then fear. So there's mountain, Meanie Pants, beastie face. It's a big mountain. And then there's anger, I think. Oh no, disgust. Sorry, they fall into his disgusting belly. And then there's anger, no, sadness, anger, trust, and joy.
Mm-hmm. I think that's so wonderful, Laura. I think it's so important as well, isn't it, for kids and us adults as well, to be learning about our emotions and kind of how we work.
Yeah, I have to say I have used some of the techniques.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking it's like probably just as good for adults as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes
So,
we need things simplified, you know, make it too complicated.
Yeah, well, I think I was walking around Dart's Farm when they were all in the midst of it, and I was just leading up to the launch, and I was like really stressed out. And I was thinking, God, this is ironic that this whole project was my recovery project with Emmy, and now I'm really feeling quite poorly with Emmy, like because I've been pushing myself with it.
Yeah.
But I just, I just need to feel calm. And then suddenly, like just a white feather flew down, and I was like, oh, and I was like, there's no birds here at the minute. Like I couldn't see where it came from, and then another one came down. I was like, oh, I'm really meant to be calming. So yeah, I've used it.
Oh, that's lovely. And so where can people find you who are listening if they're curious and find this book?
They can find it so on my website, which is www.lauraloftmusic.com. There's the shop section. There's a ton of freebies as well, so you can watch it online first, see if you like it, which comes with the music. So I've composed a soundtrack which kind of follows the emotions. There's a songbook you can download, and that has 5 songs in it and lots of activities and games ideas. This is all aimed at kind of 3 to 7-year-olds. And then there's flashcards of the emotions, and on the back there's activities. They're all free, and you can also buy it at the minute in Maker Mart, which is in Gandy Street in Exeter, and it will be available online in Amazon and Waterstones within the next few months.
How exciting!
Yeah. I've got it here. Shall I show you the cover?
Pardon? Yeah. Yeah, bring it over.
So this is what you're looking for.
It's lovely.
So little boy. And then one of my favourites is the whale. So
beautiful.
That's Wisdom the whale. We all love Wisdom. And this is our disgusting. This is the mountain, Meanie Pants, beastie face.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, it's so beautifully done.
Oh,
must be so proud.
I'm so proud. I'm so lucky that Nia was up for this project. She is the cat lady. She does lots of designs with cats, so I think it helped that I had a cat in the story.
Yeah. So how long did it take from kind of start to finish to get the final product done?
Well, the story took the longest because I had the story, but then I was trying to weave it in with, because I had lots of, I wanted to make it sound, like in terms of the mindfulness element. And so I checked it out with my friends who are social workers or psychologists and teachers,
Yeah.
so weaving that part in, and I wanted to make that bit really sound. And then so after the story was kind of written, it was almost September. I was like, right, let's go with this. And then from that point I edited it, and then had Nia involved, and we had it finished by about January. So yeah.
Congratulations, Laura.
Oh,
really,
thanks.
that's so cool.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to get a copy now. Just it just looks so lovely. Like I just want to touch the book, you know.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, it's now time for my random questions that I asked you. So the first one is best piece of advice you've ever been given.
I think I put two things, like just breathe. Which sounds silly. I remember one of my friends going, "Oh, stupid people learning how to breathe. You just breathe in and out." But it's like, no, there's like quite a lot of if you just breathe properly, and what it does to you physiologically, is that the right word? In your body. That word, anyway. Yeah. It works. It got me through labour. It got me through all sorts of pain. So
yes.
And I think I've said it already. My dad said it's good songwriting material. So
yes, yeah. If there's any pain, just think a song's going to come at the other side of it. So
yeah.
Okay, standout person in your life.
I think I put my husband. I had quite a colourful life leading up to there, with lots of challenges, and since I met him, he's just so steady. He's my rock, so calm, and yeah, we've had lots of great experiences together, and yeah, he's just always there. So
yeah. And you did put a second person as well.
Did I put my family?
A teacher.
Oh yes, yeah. So I put in terms of for musically, when I was studying music at college, I had an old lecturer called Peter Rhodes, and he was just amazing. And I was doing classical music at the time, but I struggled with classical music because I'm not really a disciplined musician. I was always just like, oh, I just want to create. And so he got that, and he was always encouraging, and he was the one who recommended I went to Dartington College of Arts, and because I got into another uni which was really good for classical music, but I was just like, I just don't want to do that. I don't think that's the right route for me. And really fun and funny. And he got me my first job when I was saving up for my gap year in the arts, which definitely got me ready for getting into the arts when I got there.
Ah, you never forget those people, do you? Who kind of helped you out? Yeah,
I know, they really stick. And and he wrote the Cadbury's Flake theme tune, so we all thought that was amazing. Like, we were like, no way.
Famous.
And then years later,
pardon?
I was going to say, and then years later, I was a Cadbury's Flake promotion girl.
Oh.
That's probably why my husband got with me, because I had all these like tons of like Cadbury's Flake chocolates, and I just go and like give them out for free. So
right, that's the secret. Standout film and why?
I've got two. So it was always Amelie. I love that film, absolutely love it, and the music, the kind of visuals, and I think just it used to make me feel like, oh, that's kind of how I live in my head, and it was really inspiring at the time. And then I really like The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, just travel-y and adventurous and kind of funny.
It's so random, isn't it? It's such a random film.
Yeah, and the soundtrack, I just love the soundtrack as well, and the Jose Gonzalez song in it, I think it's with his band, Staying Alive. Is it Staying Alive? It's just beautiful.
Okay. A song you like to dance to?
So I did this the other day, actually. I had a really bad homeschooling day and was feeling quite stressed. So I was like, right, I've got to put a song on or I'll just be sobbing all night. Minnie Riperton, Reasons. I just love it. It's just such a funky number and it's really purposeful as well, the lyrics in it.
Okay, I'm not sure I've heard it. Maybe well, I know it when I hear it. Is it quite?
Maybe, yeah. Listen to it.
I'll listen to it.
Yeah,
A creative challenge for the listeners.
Songwriting. So
who would guess that?
Yeah. So lockdown song. Let's write a lockdown song. It could be anything. So I've put a little video up on my website and on the YouTube channel. It's called Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy Songwriting. So anyone can do it. And you kind of just think about your day, pick like 5 things. Like it might be I've eaten some toast, I've gone for I was going to say swim, but we can't swim at the minute unless we got like a swimming pool. Go for a run, and then we kind of say our words together, and then we kind of flow it like a rap, and then we kind of sing it, and we add the melody to it. So we can just write a really simple song about lockdown. Could be anything.
Cool. And they can, and that's on your website. Where they can find instructions.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And one more thing, I've decided to start asking all my guests this now, because there's quite a common theme about kind of well-being throughout my podcasts. So I want you to imagine that you're about to you just feel like you're sinking, you feel like having a bit of a meltdown, or you're feeling anxious, or like on the verge of just getting a bit down. You know that feeling. What do you do personally for yourself to kind of help balance yourself?
Initially, it's always space. Like I definitely work better by myself. I recharge by myself. So if I'm around people or the space that I am sad in, I just move to a different space and try to get away from people, which is hard in lockdown. Yeah, that's my initial thing, just to get away. And actually, I used to really fight it. I used to really, really fight if I felt sad or whatever, angry. But now I think I just sit there and go, what is this emotion? And I'm going to sit with you and let you happen. I don't try to fight it, just let it out. So, I mean, it happened yesterday. I got really annoyed because I put all this effort into making some homeschooling lovely things, and it got met with and this is rubbish and storming off and that kind of stuff, and it just triggered me because I was just like ugh. And so I just kind of said to my son, I was like, Mummy's got big emotions. You need to go. So I just went into the cabin, probably really annoyed the neighbours, had a good cry, bashed the drums. Movement, it's definitely good for getting out the whatever it is, the emotion, and then took a few breaths, and it did feel much better. In the past I wouldn't have done that. I would have just gone, I don't want to feel this, and tried to suck it in. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you. That's a very appropriate way to end, actually, based on the book Big Emotions that you've written. So, Laura, thank you so much for coming to say hello. It's really nice to catch up. It's flown by. What are you heading off to do now? You've had some time for yourself, haven't you?
Yes, yeah. So they'll be back in a minute. I don't know. I might finish. I've been trying to record the My Little Hero song, and just probably check my emails and then tidy this tip. It looks quite nice at the minute, but you can't see the rest.
That could be a song, like tidy this tip. It's got
yeah. What are you up to?
I don't know. I might go and do some reading in the garden, I think. Yeah. And I need to post some letters. I always put off posting things, so I really need to post them. So get some stamps. Very exciting task. Well, nice to see you, and take care.
Yeah, you too. Take care. Bye.